Good evening. This is a meeting of the Township Committee, April 22nd, 2024. The notice requirements provided for in the Open Public Meetings Act have been satisfied. Notice of this meeting was properly given by transmission to the Asbury Park Press and the Two River Times and by posting at the Middletown Township Municipal Building and filing with the Township Clerk all on January 11th, 2024. Committeeman Clark.
Here.
Committeewoman Kratz. Committeeman Sedembrino.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Hybel.
Here.
Mayor Perry.
Here.
At this time, I'd like to invite the Elks Youth Activity Group to please come forward to the middle of the room and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. AJ Moloch, Sean Kamin, Fort Hooker, Ava Geis, and Ella Fitzgerald.
Please rise.
Back here. So we'll go on. All right. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States to the republic and justice for all. Let's give a big round of applause.
One, two, three.
Where's Val? There he is. Real quick before these young men and women sit down, I just want to thank the Middletown Elks for everything that they do. You know, honestly, the small things that happen in town that you don't hear about. And the greatness that the Middletown Elks do on a consistent basis is one of those things that they pride themselves on, not taking a victory lap, not doing those things, but the money that they raise for their child ambassadors, right? Mike Dickey is here, has led that many times. What they do for kids that are just in need of walkers. We were at the Elks, what was that, last year, guys? And a woman, mother, posted on Facebook saying that her daughter didn't have the ability was not adapting well, wasn't walking. And through Facebook, the Elks not only got all the money together, bought the walker, but was able to provide it. Just this past March, when they had their gala over at the Gramercy, not only walking, but running around. And that is a direct result of those small acts of kindness that the Middletown Elks 2179 does each and every day. Very grateful not only to be a member of the Elks Lodge, but to have you as a part of it. So I want to thank all of you, and I want to thank all of our Elks here in the audience. Okay. Yes.
Sure. At this time, I'd like to ask for a moment of silence to honor the troops serving worldwide, defending our constitutions, freedoms, and way of life. Thank you.
Before we move on with our next presentation, I just want to ask everyone if they could please just stand for a moment of silence. Last week, Middletown lost a big personality and a great man in our prosecutor, John Lane, who died tragically after battling for a few weeks. And he lost that battle last Friday, and it was very sad to find out because John was a great man and had a huge heart. So we extend our heartfelt sorrow to his wife his children, Mary Fran, I mean, everybody in our hearts. John was an unbelievable human, and I'm glad to have known him. So if you'll all just join me briefly in a moment of silence. Thank you.
For our next presentation, we have a presentation recognizing Middletown South B8, G9, and B10 travel basketball teams for winning Winter 2024 Mid-Monmouth Championships. I'd like to invite the B8, G9, and B10 players and their coaches to please join Mayor Perry at the front of the room.
All right, I'm gonna just take this right here. Size order. Right. It's some good sizes. Yeah. All right, are we able to squeeze down a little bit? There we go. Yeah. Were you the one? All right, and let's, how can we make this work?
Let them kneel down.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Okay,
they've been here before.
all right.
Kneel down.
Guys, come on right here.
Well,
Listen, somebody took charge.
What happened when you let us go first?
Well, first of all, let's give it up for some champions. This morning I was getting my kids ready, and Alana's taken all three kids, and I was acting like, I actually had a meeting to go to. So Alana is loading all three of the kids into all the kids are walking to village school, and like, yep, you're gonna see the mayor later tonight. You're gonna do this, and I'm thinking to myself, wait, I gotta get, what's going on here? And then I look down and I see all these champions' names on certificates that I was able to sign today for all of you. And you know what? Looking around, you guys have been here before because this is back to back, right? But I really believe, and it's been amazing since it feels like since we moved into this building. We have had champion after champion after champion come into this building and get recognized right here. And to see all of you, to see you guys back, right? And to see the champions in each of you, in the girls team and the boys team, it speaks to the heart and the character of each and every one of you. But I also want you to do one thing for me. I now take my daughter to swim practice, dance, if you can call it dancing, practice. But look at your parents out there and say thank you. Yeah. Dad's back there like, yeah, I'm over here. To all of your coaches. Big bang. So why don't you give a big round of applause for your parents and your coaches? So, real quick, ladies first here. 3rd and 4th grade girls team, Coach Carly. So we got Coach Carly, Coach Greg up here. Let's talk about this, a 13-1 season. Right? 13. What's that? Yeah. Well, next year, what's going to happen? 14-0, right? All right. Our third grade BA boys team, Coach Mark, Coach Sean, Coach Nick, Coach Brian.
14-0, right? And in our fifth grade, what's it, B10? B10, right? Back to back, head coach John, coach Mike, coach Jeff, 14-1. How are we feeling? What's gonna happen next year? All right, like inspire me to say like, but back-to-back champions, right? Let's give it up for our. Now, like I mentioned, we've had a lot of sports teams that have come through here. And I talked about your parents, I talked about your coaches, but I just real quick about all of you. You're all part of a team, you've realized that. No one person is gonna win or lose, right? No one person is gonna carry a team. And if you commit yourselves to the strength and the character and the sportsmanship, but of that championship caliber, all of you are gonna be back in this town hall next year again. But that's what we gotta strive for. You guys have shown that, but for our younger teams, we gotta keep it going. You've made Middletown proud. You'll continue to make Middletown proud. I'm proud of you, the township committee's proud of you, and we're so grateful that you're representing Middletown everywhere that you go as champions. So congratulations.
It's not my thing.
Yeah, they, gave me this haircut. I promised them back in December that if they won the championship, they could shave my head, and they got it done.
Well, I'll tell you, unlicensed barbers, they have done an excellent.
Great for the kids, so hard for the years, couldn't be more proud of them.
All right, awesome. Coach Mark? You want to say, just,
Of course, thank you, one, for having us, the committee, mayor, thank you again to the parents, and really proud of all these boys for the work they put in all year, so congrats, guys.
your hair looks pretty good, so. All right. And Coach John, I don't know if you want to say anything?
I just said one thing, in our post game, after we won, I said one of the reasons why we won and beat some of the other towns was because our kids were all friends. There's no egos, the parents don't have egos, there's none of that in our team, and, you hear what's going on in other towns, and it doesn't happen here, so I think that's one of the reasons why we're so successful.
Excellent. All right, one more time, let's give it up for our. Real quick, we'll do ladies first, and we'll take a picture, we'll do each of you, so, gentlemen, if you want to scoot that way real quick, we'll do ladies first. Take a quick picture, and we'll switch.
Oh, so, thank you.
I'll take a picture of
That's
it.
good. I like Congratulations, however you want.
Go in front so we go back. Can you switch it up?
1, 2, 3, winners. 1, 2, 3. You're all, okay, got it. Everybody good?
All right, let's give it up.
Good job, girls.
Yeah. Points.
Well, boys,
All right, boys. Wait, these are this. Wow, look at that. Yeah, definitely. Remember, somebody else is gonna come behind Tara.
Count of 3, champs, want to say champs, winners, what do you want to say? Champs.
Yeah.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. Nice. Any parents want to take a picture?
Yeah. What do you want? Well, that's what they can get. Yeah. You're right.
What do you have to say?
We're going to do a 2-minute recess to allow the families to leave if you want before we continue with the agenda. I'll continue on tonight's agenda with the proclamations for the record. We have proclamation recognizing April 2024 as Donate Life Month in the Township of Middletown. We have a proclamation recognizing April 2024 as National Volunteer Month in the Township of Middletown. We have a proclamation recognizing April 2024 as Child Abuse Prevention Month in the Township of Middletown. We also have a proclamation recognizing April 2024 as Autism Awareness Month in the Township of Middletown. We have a proclamation recognizing April 22nd, 2024 as Earth Day in the Township of Middletown, and a proclamation recognizing April 28th through May 4th, 2024 as National Small Business Week in the Township of Middletown. At this time, we have the approval of minutes. For approval, we have March 18th, 2024 regular meeting and March 8th, 2024 workshop meeting.
Motion to approve. Second.
All right. I guess I'll just keep going. Roll call vote?
Yeah.
Okay. Committeeman Clark,
Yes.
Committeeman Sedambrino,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Hybel,
Yes.
Mayor Perry.
Yes.
Motion carries to approve minutes. At this time, we have a budget resolution 24-141, a resolution to read the budget by title.
Motion. Second.
Committeeman Clark,
Yes.
Committeeman Sedambrino,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Hybel,
Yes.
Mayor Perry.
Yes.
Motion carries to adopt resolution 24-141. At this time, we have our budget presentation given by Colleen Lapp, our CFO.
All right, Colleen. How you doing today? John, you're getting,
Okay,
all right.
I want to welcome everyone to the 2024 Township of Middletown Budget Introduction. I will go through a few slides just to highlight some of the budget. On the first slide is one that I typically do. It's just the major cost centers in our budget and how they break down. I do this so that everybody, has idea of where all the municipal dollars go. Obviously, the largest portions of the budget you can see are salary and wages, insurances, and then our regular day-to-day operating expenditures. That's, probably 60% of our budget. And then the rest of it works its way in. The next slide is our 2024 breakdown of the tax levies. This is estimated based on prior years. This really doesn't change too much. What this is telling us is that for every dollar of taxes collected here, this is the breakdown of where they go. 62 cents goes to the Board of Ed, 23 cents stays here, 10 cents goes to the county, and a couple of other things, the library and the open space taxes. But that's how the dollars get spent that get collected here. On the next slide is changes from 23 to 24 in property tax. So our municipal levy has increased by a little over 2.4 million. However, our proposed tax rate is going from 0.403 to 0.382. That has to do with our increasing assessed values. The average residential assessment has increased from 592.7 to 653.929 in 2024. I went back to look at that because our assessments increase pretty significantly each year. So as a reference, I went back to 2019 and our average residential assessment then was $444,000 and change. In the 5 years since 2019 till now, the average assessed value of a home has increased 47% in these past 5 years. So if you were able to invest in real estate, you have a pretty good return on your investment. The other thing I wanted to just touch on a little bit was inflation. Across the nation, in our town, everybody has experienced inflation in the past few years. On the average, our national inflation rate from 2020 to 2024 totals 20.40%. It's a little over 20% inflation increases in the past few years. For us here in Middletown, we know that these years have been hard on everybody, and we've tried very all the time. We look at our costs, we look at our funding, and we try and keep the levy increases to a minimum. So in the same 4 years where inflation has increased by 20.4%, our levies have increased a total of 12.81%, and that's nearly 8% less than the national average. And the reason I point that out is because it's not always easy, and we really experienced that in this year's budget. Our costs have increased on our day-to-day items, on other resources, including labor, specialized items, anything that we need to buy that are specific for law enforcement, firefighting, DPW. A lot of that kind of equipment has increased exponentially, 100% increases on some items. So we try to look at every way that we can to save money, but yet still provide everything that we need to give the services that everybody here in this great town have come to expect from us. So this budget that we're presenting tonight, and that we're hoping to introduce and get approved, we've really put a lot of effort in, and we've tried our best to keep things as economically less impactful. I don't know how else to say it. We're trying to really keep in mind that everybody's experiencing increases everywhere, and we try and keep our increases as low as we possibly can. As we can responsibly do. So some of the cost drivers, that's what I wanted to go through this year. They change from year to year. Some are consistent. I don't have them on here because some of them it's year over year, but some of the newer ones or the ones that were unique to this year, I wanted to point out. So in our planning department, we had to add $200,000 to this line for what's called builders remedy lawsuits, which has to do with affordable housing. That's something that, it's just as some properties come open, we have to be aware, we have to listen to the residents and then take our cue from there as to how to handle that. But some of those things can be costly. There can be larger costs down the road if you don't, do the things up front. So sometimes you have to make that initial investment to make sure that we're doing the right things for everybody.
So Colleen, just a quick question.
Sure.
So the $200,000 is for us to prevent the high density housing that we've been discussing for, many months, years now. This is so that we have an appropriation that allows us to continue to fight against that high density housing.
Exactly.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Next is health insurance. I don't think anybody will be surprised to find out that we have a large increase in our health insurance this year. That seems to be another trend that's nationwide. Although our increase is large, one of the things that we look at is we go out to market and we make sure that we're getting the best prices that we can. Insurance is one of those things. It's a very large cost in our budget. And so therefore we look at that. And although it's a big increase, it's not as big as it could be if we were out in the market, paying fully insured premiums.
Colleen,
Mm-hmm.
sorry.
No, you're fine.
Comparatively to the state health benefits plan, obviously the township has been self-insured for some time now to try and mitigate the rising costs of the state health benefits plan. As it relates to the state health benefits plan, how does this compare in terms of increases year over year? Are we more, are we less than what the state health benefits plan offers?
We are less, and I will tell you the state health benefits, they strike their rates sometime in July of each year. It's after the state budget's done. But ahead of the state budget being done, there's already notices that have gone out that they are bracing for a significant, I'm hearing around 20% increase on their rates this year. And that's after they had recently a 24% increase in their rates.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Fire hydrants. I had to put this in. We had to increase this line $100,000 this year. We pay over $1 million a year for fire hydrants. Those rates are set by BPU, and the rates were increased again. So therefore, that's why we had to increase this line by $100,000. Stormwater management. We have new requirements in stormwater management that are statewide. And we had to add a new line to this budget of $225,000. And that's just to begin some of the permitting and things that are going to be needed for the overall stormwater management requirements that have recently been presented by the state.
So, Colleen, sorry. So $225,000. This is a question, I guess, for Tony, for Ted. This is a new budget line. I'm not going to go on. You've all heard me talk about unfunded mandates from the state of New Jersey. Is this even close to what do we expect this budget line to be next year?
Well, I don't have the exact amount, but it's going to be significantly higher next year. This is an escalating regulatory requirement from the state. So we looked into it over the next few years. It's going to keep going higher, unfortunately.
And this is the new DEP provision that requires us to permit the locations like Haynes Lane, the airport, and the Fire Academy,
A compost site.
so that we can test the stormwater runoff that occurs on the leaves and branches that we pick up from the residential households.
That's right. And we have to test the runoff pretty much every significant rain, which is by definition, almost every rain event we have.
So every time it rains, we have to test the water that accumulates in and near leaves. For what purpose?
The intent seems to be to make sure the quality of the water isn't detrimental to the environment, but, we have to send somebody there literally every time it rains, collect the sample, drive it to a lab, pay the lab to have it tested, look at the results. The results are going to be pretty much the same every time and usually aren't detrimental, but again, that's a requirement they're making us adhere to.
And let me ask this final question on this ridiculous mandate. I'm going to assume that this $225,000 is in part for permitting through the Department of Environmental Protection.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah,
So this is just a line item to pay the state of New Jersey so that we have to test stormwater after a rainstorm.
There are a lot of significant changes, some of which are particularly hard on larger municipalities. One of the changes that coming in one of the next year or two is a mandate to street sweep every single street in the town 3 times a year, which in Middletown is like 1,000 lane miles of road, which, is almost impossible to really do without buying a lot of street sweepers or contracting it out.
Well, you have to hire, we have to hire more people that are going to be fully dedicated.
But
to it.
we'd have to hire people or contract it out, but it'll cost us a fortune either way.
From what I understand, though, that rule also applies to after, 48 hours after a snowstorm, too?
Right.
Yes.
So 48 hours after a snowstorm, we have to street sweep so that the salt does not go into the stormwater management, even though there still could be snow and things piled up on the sides of the roadways that have yet to melt.
Almost certainly there will be. yeah.
Okay.
One of the things that was difficult about this, one of the reasons it's such a difficult one for towns to comply with is that they staggered the implementation of various stages over the years. So that the cost is going to increase every single year for probably the next 4 or 5 years.
Well, and it's also been delayed several times, has it not?
There were some things that were supposed to have gone into effect already that they put off, and we can hope that they put it off again, but it really is only putting off the inevitable.
But the municipality still has to dedicate hard dollars in order to do that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the state really legally should be providing us with the funds to do these state mandate programs, but they never do.
I'm not sure Colleen knew that she was putting a increase in my blood pressure into a PowerPoint presentation. But Go ahead, Colleen.
I'd like to point out one more thing on that hasn't been mentioned. And actually, Tony, you're better at this than I am, Tony Mercantante. There's also a portion of this where there's a tree portion, and we're going to have some kind of expert on that as well.
Yeah, one of the things that New Jersey has
A
now
tree
required.
expert?
Yeah,
An arborist?
No, it's different than an arborist, right?
Oh,
it's actually,
Certified.
New
someone
Jersey
explain
has,
to me what the difference is.
well, there isn't a difference really, but New Jersey has created its own title called Certified Tree Expert,
Oh,
a CTE. And
it already has an acronym.
It already has an acronym. And
Okay, beautiful.
yeah, I'm waiting to see what people do with CTE, by the way. over
Yeah,
time.
me too.
But one of the requirements is that at some point, everyone is going to need a permit to take down a tree on their property over a certain size. Now, the size, there's a little bit of wiggle room in what size tree we start to regulate. But I just think it's absurd for the government to be getting into people's backyards and telling them what they can do with trees. And then if you do have to take down a tree, you have to mitigate it by planting another tree or paying into a fund that's supposed to go towards planting trees in other places. And again, it's.
The key word
It's
there
one of
was
those things that
supposed
sounds
to.
like a really cute idea, but until a town the size of Middletown tries to implement that, I mean, who could possibly keep up with every tree that gets removed? We have, what, 4 or 5 tree services around here? They must remove several hundred trees a year for each of them. So
Well, if they know about this, they're about to get a lot busier.
they are going to get a lot busier. And so it's again, it's a real problem. You know, we have to put these ordinances into place, and people are going to get mad at us for implementing these rules, but they're state required rules. And it's just unrealistic. And the potential expense, I mean, if someone needs to take down a tree in the yard and your certified tree expert happens to be on vacation for 2 weeks, what do you do? So no,
Fall in another CTE.
well, the reality is you need more than one. That's exactly the point.
Oh.
You can't just hire one. You need more than one to really implement this. So
Ryan, you becoming a CTE? Okay.
I'm thinking about it.
All right. All right, go ahead, Colleen.
All righty. And then the last on here, again, no surprise, everybody's experiencing this, but it's fuel. And fuel, what's weird about fuel this year is that we're increasing in cost as we're going into the budget, where in the past we've kind of seen it decrease a little bit. So we had to increase that line as well, just to make sure that hopefully we're good for the rest of the year.
I saw the estimates today, said that they expect a 30-cent increase over the course of May on gasoline. So,
I know.
okay. Okay.
All right, and then my final slide, it's always my favorite slide, is our energy receipts tax. Once again, the state took over in 2001 collecting this tax that we used to collect locally. It was merely supposed to be a pass-through. They were going to collect it and turn it over to us. But lo and behold, somewhere around 2004, 2005, as our collection should have increased statutorily, they stayed steady, and then they took a drop in 2010. And currently, if we had gotten what we statutorily should have gotten this year, it would have been another approximately 6.2 million, which would have negated our increase altogether and actually made a decrease in our tax levy. Over all the years where we should have collected a certain amount and we're only paid the amount the state gave to us, we are short $82 million, almost $83 million. And that's much larger than our entire tax levy.
Now, Colleen, I remember, I don't know if it was last year's budget or the state budget or the budget prior to that, there was a big announcement that we were supposed to be receiving an increase. I think, what was it? They were claiming that up to half of what we were supposed to be receiving on top of what we currently receive. So call it, $9 million rather than the $6 million. How much money did we actually receive from the state of New Jersey in terms of an increase? Because on here, your budget line remains steady around $6 million. So I'm just curious, what was the increase 2022 to 23?
On my line, it's so hard to see the increase, but there was an increase from 22 to 23,
Of what?
$42,000.
So the 3 million that we were supposed to get instead turned to 42,000?
Right.
Somebody just check my math on that. All right. That's less, right?
That is.
Okay. Okay.
Slide doesn't have an alternate name to it.
All right. Any questions for Colleen from the Township Committee? Okay. I do just want to say thank you to Colleen. We spent a lot of time together. But I want to thank Colleen. I want to thank Tony. I want to thank the department heads for working hard and collaborating together to put together a budget that was responsible, and greatly appreciative of that. There's a lot of cost drivers that are out of our control, but we do everything we can to mitigate that. So, okay. All right, Heidi? Motion.
Second. Yes.
Committeeman Sedambrino,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Hybel,
Yes.
Mayor Perry.
Yes.
Motion carries to introduce the 2024 municipal operating budget, Resolution 24-142, with a public hearing tentatively scheduled for May 6, 2024.
Colleen, is that right? May 6th, or does it have to be the 20th? The 6th?
The 6th?
No, the 20th.
The 20th, okay. That's, I just want to make sure. Okay. So the public hearing will be held tentatively for May 20th, 2024. Thank you.
Okay. All right.
All right, we have
Moving on.
public hearings on proposed ordinances. Our first ordinance, we have 2024-3410, an ordinance establishing additional authorized street names.
Any member of the public wishing to speak on public ordinance number 2024-3410? Okay, I looked at Kevin. Seeing no other member of the public stepping forward, move to close the public portion and approve.
Second.
Committeeman Clark,
Yes.
Committeeman Sedambrino,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Hybel,
Yes.
Mayor Perry.
Yes.
Motion carries to adopt this ordinance on second reading, and next ordinance we have is 2024-3411, an ordinance amending permitting and licensing standards for itinerant retail food handling establishments.
Any member of the public wishing to speak on public ordinance number 2024-3411? Seeing no member of the public stepping forward, move to close the public portion and approve.
Second.
Committeeman Clark,
Yes.
Committeeman Sedambrino.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Hybel.
Yes.
Mayor Perry.
Yes.
Motion carries, passes ordinance on second and final reading. At this time, we have introduction of proposed ordinances, 2024-3412, an ordinance delegating authority to the Township of Middletown Sewage Authority relating to the inspection and enforcement of regulations governing grease traps and interceptors.
Motion to introduce.
Second.
Committeeman Clark,
Yes.
Committeeman Sedambrino,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Hybel.
Yes.
Mayor Perry.
Yes.
Motion carries to adopt this ordinance on first reading with a public hearing to be held May 6, 2024. At this time, we have introduction of proposed ordinance 2024-3413, an ordinance amending Chapter 240-20 of the Code of the Township of Middletown, reducing New Jersey Transit commuter parking lot fees to mitigate extraordinary New Jersey Transit fare increases.
Motion to introduce.
Second.
Committeeman Clark,
Yes.
Committeeman Sedambrino,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Hybel,
Yes.
Mayor Perry.
Yes.
Motion carries to pass this ordinance on first reading with a public hearing to be held May 6, 2024. At this time, I'd like to ask the Township Committee to adopt a consent agenda, which would include resolutions 24-143 through 24-153 and a firefighter application, and removing resolution 24-144 and 24-145 for a separate vote.
Motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Committeeman Clark,
Yes.
Committeeman Sedambrino,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Hybel,
Yes.
Mayor Perry.
Yes.
Motion carries to adopt consent agenda. At this time, we have resolution 24-144, a resolution authorizing firework display for Beacon Hill Country Club on July 3rd, 2024.
Motion to introduce. Motion to approve, sorry.
Second.
Committeeman Clark,
Yes.
Committeeman Sedambrino,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Hybel,
Recuse.
Mayor Perry.
Yes.
Motion carries to adopt resolution 24-144 with recusal noted. This time, we have resolution 24-145, a resolution authorizing fireworks display for Riverview Foundation fundraiser on July 3rd, 2024.
Motion to approve. Second.
Okay, Committeeman Clark,
Yes.
Committeeman Sedambrino,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Hybel,
Yes.
Mayor Perry.
Recuse.
Okay. Motion carries to adopt resolution 24-145 with recusal noted. At this time, we have the Township Committee acting as the ABC issuing authority. We have Resolution 24-154, a resolution authorizing person-to-person transfer of liquor license from SNA Route 35, Inc. to Middletown Beverage LLC.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Committeeman Clark.
Yes.
Committeeman Sedambrino.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Hybel.
Yes.
Mayor Perry.
Yes.
Motion carries to adopt Resolution 24-154. At this time, we have Township Committee comments.
All right, Committeeman Clark.
First, I'd like to congratulate all three teams that were in here. Having been in this room for a handful of meetings now, through my first term and into this one, anytime we have kids in here, especially that many, the energy in here is totally different. It's really exciting and it's cool to see. So congratulations to all of them. To our CFO and our business administrator and everybody else who contributed to our budget. I know how difficult it is, and you guys did an amazing job getting us somewhere where we can talk responsibly to the public about how we're spending our money and be able to defend it really, really easily. So I really do appreciate that very much. That's all I got.
All right, thank you. Committeeman Sedambrino.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple of items. I want to congratulate the travel basketball teams, all three. And the job that the coaches did is amazing. And I have two 12 going on 27-year-old kids, and they don't get along for nothing. And I can't get them moving the same direction for anything. So for these coaches and the parents to get these 8, 9, and 10-year-old kids to focus on something both mentally and physically is fantastic, and it's great for the town as well. So congratulations to them. And Colleen, to your team, and to Tony, thank you very much for the budget presentation. It puts Middletown again first and foremost in the county as a leader. Thank you so much. That's all I have for tonight, Mayor. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Deputy Mayor.
I got to thank the kids in the crowd here and everyone else. That was by far the best Pledge of Allegiance I have ever seen here. So pretty excited about that. Congratulations to the team. You know, Middletown does have the best sports teams out there. Time and time again, they always seem to pull it off as a big win here. But Colleen, always thank you. Wonderful job. All our department heads, the mayor, for being in 422 meetings, trying to save some money for everyone. And thank you, Tony. I know you worked a lot too on this. That's all I have, Mayor.
Okay. Just wanted to note a couple things. Again, my thanks to everybody that was a part of that. I want to thank all the teams that were here today. It's always just brings a great energy to the room and to celebrate those kids' successes. I want to thank the Township Committee. I want to thank Brian. I want to thank Tony, Heidi, Colleen for introducing the ordinance today with regard to NJ Transit. I think putting money back into our commuters' pockets is a good thing, especially when you see this 15% increase in fees that are occurring at NJ Transit, plus 3% every year after that, which I don't think most people know. So getting it on the agenda and getting it done. Again, my heart goes out to John Lane and his family, to Mary Fran. I just saw John just a few weeks earlier, and he was on the mend, and you could feel it that he was getting better. But a gentleman that was lost too early in life, most certainly. So again, my heart goes out to him and his family. So, okay, with that being said, one more thing. I want to thank our fire department that's here today. We had a little bit of an incident that occurred out there on Phalanx Road, but thanks to your swift efforts, got it cleaned up and fixed up very quickly, which could have been a very difficult situation because you acted so quickly. A truck that had spilled some diesel fuel onto Phalanx Road on the bridge did not end up flowing into the water reservoir where all of our drinking water comes from. So thanks to your swift action, it proves once again how grateful we are to have a great fire department. So thank you, guys. All right, with that being said, I'll open up for public comment. Any member of the public wishing to make a public comment may do so. We just ask that you state your name and your address for the record. We ask that you keep your comments to 5 minutes. At 4 minutes, I'll let you know that you have 1 minute remaining. With that being said, any member of the public wishing to make a public comment? Bruce, come on down.
Name's Bruce Stafford, 39 Brainart, Fort Monmouth. First question I have, that $225,000 that was budgeted for storm water management, does that have anything to do with curb boxes?
Does it have anything to do with what, Bruce?
Curb boxes? Ted knows.
It has, no, this is a permitting for Canes Lane, the old airport where we store the leaves and we cut and churn the leaves, right?
Okay.
And then the fire academy where we temporarily store leaves in transport, right?
Okay.
So this is like I mentioned, an unfunded mandate that is occurring so that we can test the stormwater runoff of where we store these leaves, because I guess the notion is that the water that runs off them may have certain contaminants in them for whatever reason, and now we are obligated with that cost. And like I mentioned, that's why I asked the question. 225,000 is a lot of money today. It makes me nervous for what's going to happen next year. It makes me nervous what's going to happen the year after that, because I am beyond tired of these ridiculous unfunded mandates that we're constantly jammed with, because it takes away from doing other important projects throughout the town. So the 225,000 doesn't even scratch the surface when it comes to the engineering, the permitting that is going to have to take place in town to handle this new unfunded mandate.
Now, was any money, Ted, do you know, budgeted for the curb boxes?
So
That won't go in our operating budget. That will go in a capital budget plan.
That's right.
This has nothing to do with capital. This has nothing to do with streets. This is purely an operational
For
budget.
that specific location? That 225,000?
This 225,000 is for, that's not a capital expense.
Right.
It's not a capital eligible expense. So when you're talking about infrastructure changes and things like that, that all goes in a capital budget, which now Colleen has to shift her attention from, now that this is introduced, to a capital budget. I'll see you there. So that would happen at that meeting, Bruce. So that's not, we have to do our operating budget first.
Okay, so we didn't get that far yet.
No, sir.
Okay. All right. Ted, any update with pumping services for that valve?
Yeah, they sent us a proposal, but they wanted to add some more changes to it. They saw some wiring that had to be redone in the gate, in the controls. So they're going to send us a newer proposal and get that done. In the meantime, we're still opening it, manually as needed, or closing it.
Did he say how long? About?
No, I got to check with Bobby Kimball this week, actually. I didn't talk to him today yet, but I'll find out tomorrow. I'll give you a call when I find out.
Okay, all right. Just to mention something quick about the gas increase, part of that reason is because they tell us that we're going from winter grade now to summer grade. So there's an increase in price because you're going to
They're
get
going to tell
summer
us,
grade.
they're going to tell us that at the end of May too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, well, we're switching.
Yeah.
We're
I
switching
think the
from
winter
winter
grade would
grade
probably
to
work for
summer
all your
grade.
cars.
Yeah. My car does not care if it's winter grade or
No,
summer.
but that's
grade.
what they're saying anyway.
Yeah, okay.
Something else real quick. I'm sure you're all aware of our sewer bills, how they've increased. Okay. I mean, I've been here for over 35 years and it went from $70 to $80. Okay. Over a pretty good stretch period of time. This last one went from $80 to $106. So you're talking about a $104 increase for the year. That's a lot. When you're talking about, it went from 80 to 106 per quarter. We're all in the same boat, I know, but that's a pretty huge increase. Like I said, I've been here for over 35 years and it went from 70, let's say over a 10-year period, to 80. and it went from 80 to 106. That's a pretty big increase for every resident, I might add. Four-way stop sign, Wilson and Main. For starters, what was the reason for it?
Well, a group of residents had actually come to our township committee meeting, and they had concerns, and Chief is here, concerns about speeding on that roadway. So a study was done by our traffic department. We evaluated several different options that we had. The four-way stop was agreed that could benefit the traffic pattern there. Obviously, that's a unique intersection. It's not really a four-way stop. It's kind of a jumble of where Wilson and Maine all come together, right? With Port Monmouth Fire Company right there as well. So it was a mechanism that was put into place to try and slow down the traffic that was going there. And in fact, I have the traffic study that we did after those four-way stop signs, the new traffic pattern went in, which we evaluated over the course of a 4-day period, morning, noon, and night, in which 12,309 cars were counted, and 92.47% of them were going the speed limit or below, which is a pretty good margin, I would say. So it seems like the new traffic pattern there is working to try and mitigate that speeding that was of concern to some of the residents there.
That's what I kind of thought, because a handful of meetings back, there was people in here that were complaining about the people that speed on Main.
Mm-hmm.
But let it be known, they go faster on Brainerd than they do on Main. And it's 25 miles an hour on my street. But outside of that, I think there's going to be more accidents at that four-way stop now than ever. I was out there the other day and I checked each and every corner. There's no trace of glass out there from accidents, for starters. But there's going to be. There's skid marks out there like crazy now, all over the place, because people are not sure whether or not they should stop, whether they should go. I took a couple pictures out there the other day, and while I was out there for the 5
Stop
minutes.
signs are pretty standard. Stop means stop.
Oh, yeah. But I got stop signs near me, and you and I have discussed this before about putting the red lights around the stop signs with the solar panel on it. Okay, and I think when I finish here, I'll explain something to you about the one stop sign that's at the four-way stop. It doesn't matter. The end result is it really doesn't matter to me, but I see accidents are going to happen there, okay? Because currently there's more accidents on Brainerd than there is at that four-way stop as of now, okay? But one of my concerns at the four-way stop is they installed one of the stop signs.
Just temporary.
It's in the street though.
Yes, because we're building that where those two come together, a new curbing system is going to be going in. So that's just a
Okay.
temporary stop sign for the time being.
Because one of my main concerns is seriously on the Main Street to Wilson, where you make your right-hand turn.
Mhm.
That's where the stop sign has actually been installed in the street.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing that's reflective at all on the backside of the sign. So when you're coming up Main to make a left onto Wilson,
Mm-hmm.
you don't even see the sign at night because it's nothing but the aluminum that's back there. You know what I mean? There's nothing reflective on it. Somebody's either going to make a right-hand turn from Main onto Wilson and take the sign out, or somebody's going to be coming up Main to make a left onto Wilson. They're going to take that sign down. You can't see it. There's reflective on the front side of it, you know, plus you got the red sign. But on the back, I took some pictures if you want to see them after the meeting.
Sure.
You can't, there's no way you can see that sign coming from the backside of the sign.
I'll take a look.
Okay.
All right.
I think that's all I have.
All right. Thank you, Bruce.
Thank you for your time.
Any other member of the public wishing to make a public comment? Hello. How are you?
Good, thank you. My name is Michelle Carpalis. I live at 57 Fairview. I don't know if I'm out of order or not. I'm new to the neighborhood. And recently, we just saw some action happening at Crestview Pharmacy.
Mhm.
on Crestview and 35. So do you know, or can you tell us what's going to go there? What's going to be there?
Utility or inside the building?
Inside, there's work going on, which I've been here maybe 8 months and I haven't
I
seen
I
it.
haven't-
I'm
I
not
haven't heard
aware of any
anything, but We
permit.
can check tomorrow.
Okay, I just wanted,
I'm not aware of any BCOs that have been applied for. I don't know if they're just doing work
Okay.
inside the building. I know that the owner of the building did say that they wanted to do some interior renovations, but I'm not aware of any BCOs that were applied for.
okay, it's just been vacant, just to see some action, which is nice if it's.
Sure.
Yeah. And another question, on 35.
But it's a coffee shop.
I mean, I would love it to be a drive-through coffee shop because the Dunkin' Donuts on 35 North,
Yes.
they have cones there.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm new to Jersey, and since I've been here, things usually happen quickly. But for some reason, those cones are blocking off the Dunkin' Donuts that you cannot get in.
Yes.
You can't make a left.
Our police department stopped that work from occurring. It was an incredibly dangerous situation. You can't just start hacking away at concrete on the side of Route 35 when people are going 50 miles an hour. It's really bad mix. So we immediately stopped that work. So that's why it has sat there, because you have to have lane closures and things of that nature. It was an incredibly dangerous situation that they just decided, let's start hacking away at some asphalt, and that doesn't jive with our police department. So that has that's why that has stopped. And I would assume, because it's a state highway, that they would have to get some type of street, lane closures, at least at minimum, from the New Jersey Department of Transportation.
Okay. Okay.
So at this point in time, it's only southbound coffee from there.
Correct. Or Starbucks.
Yeah.
Not that we have a shortage of Dunkin' Donuts.
No. Any other member of the public wishing to make a public comment? All right, seeing no other member of the public stepping forward, move to close the public portion and adjourn.
Second.
Committeeman Clark.
Yes.
Committeeman Sedambrino.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Hybel.
Yes.
Mayor Perry.
Yes.
Motion carries to adjourn.
Have a great night, everybody. Thank you all so much.